Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're diving into something that many people think about, but very few truly understand. This is not about hype or fear-mongering. This is about knowledge, preparation, and survival. The topic is World War III survival and the truths that are rarely talked about in mainstream discussions. Many people believe survival just means stockpiling food or hiding in a bunker, but there's so much more. The real survival guide involves mindset, planning, adaptability, and understanding how society collapses when global conflict reaches its breaking point. The first thing you have to realize is that World War III would not look like the wars of the past. Technology has changed everything. Drones, satellites, cyber warfare, and advanced weapons make the battlefield both physical and digital. This means that survival is not just about dodging bombs or bullets. It's about preparing for the collapse of infrastructure, the breakdown of communication, the loss of electricity, and even the manipulation of information. If you're not mentally prepared for that, no amount of food stockpiles will keep you safe. Mindset is the core of survival. Panic kills faster than hunger. People who freeze, deny reality, or wait for governments to save them, usually don't make it. The truth is that you are responsible for your own survival, and the earlier you accept that, the better prepared you will be. It starts with training your mind to handle uncertainty, fear, and chaos. Meditation, breathing exercises, and even simulated practice scenarios can train you to remain calm under pressure. Calm people make smart decisions. Panic leads to mistakes. Food and water always come next, but there's a truth nobody talks about. In real war scenarios, stockpiles can make you a target. If your neighbors are hungry and they know you have food, you could be forced into conflict. That's why smart preppers keep their supplies discreet and learn skills that allow them to replenish resources instead of relying solely on stored goods. Knowing how to filter water, grow small amounts of food even in urban environments, and trade without attracting attention is far more valuable than just having a basement full of cans. Water security is non-negotiable. In any war, water infrastructure is one of the first things to fail. Pipes break, treatment plants shut down, or supplies get contaminated. A person can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. That means every serious survivalist needs to know multiple methods of purification. Boiling, iodine tablets, and portable filters are important, but so is the knowledge of how to build improvised systems from charcoal, sand, and containers. Urban survivors especially must learn to locate hidden sources of water, whether from rain collection, radiators, or even condensation traps. Another overlooked truth is community. Many people think survival means being a lone wolf, hiding out and protecting yourself at all costs. But in reality, human beings survive best in groups. A small, trusted network can share skills, defend against threats, and support each other. One person cannot stay awake 24 hours a day. One person cannot master every skill. A group, however, can specialize and rotate responsibilities. The danger is trusting the wrong people, so discretion and trust building are crucial before disaster strikes. Medical preparation is another area people underestimate. In war, hospitals quickly get overwhelmed or destroyed. Even minor injuries become life-threatening when antibiotics are unavailable. That's why building a strong medical kit is not enough. You also need knowledge. First aid, wound care, CPR, infection control, and even herbal remedies become lifesavers. People forget that history is filled with soldiers and civilians who died not from bullets, but from infections, dehydration, or untreated injuries. Medical skills make you an asset in any survival group, which also increases your chances of being protected by others. Shelter is about more than walls. If World War III brings nuclear exchanges, biological attacks, or chemical warfare, then your shelter must also protect you from radiation, fallout, and contaminated air. The truth is, most people don't have bunkers, but there are still strategies. Learning how to seal rooms, create improvised air filters, and minimize radiation exposure is vital. Even something as simple as staying indoors for the right amount of time after fallout can drastically increase survival chances. Knowledge again becomes more powerful than equipment. Power is another hidden truth. In modern society, we rely on electricity for everything. Communication, cooking, heating, and even mental health depend on light and energy. When grids go down during war, people feel lost. That's why learning to live without electricity is crucial. Solar panels, hand-crank generators, and battery banks can extend your comfort, but don't rely only on tech. Learn to cook on fire, learn to navigate without GPS, and learn to operate when digital tools fail. Mental preparation for a life without screens might be one of the most difficult parts for many people. Communication is another pillar of survival. Wars bring disinformation, blackouts, and propaganda. When official channels shut down, rumors dominate. That's why having alternative communication like radios, ham systems, or even written messages becomes essential. But even more important is critical thinking. Being able to analyze whether information is true or false can protect you from traps, ambushes, and manipulation. Propaganda is a powerful weapon in modern warfare, and survival means not being deceived into making fatal choices. Mobility cannot be ignored. Some people think the best plan is to bunker down and never move, but the reality is that conflict zones shift. Staying in one place can become dangerous if resources run out or if your area becomes targeted. That's why every survival plan needs both a stay strategy and a move strategy. Bug-out bags, maps, safe routes, and alternative destinations should always be ready. Survival is about options, and flexibility is key. One rarely discussed truth is barter and economy. In a collapsed world, money may lose value. Skills, supplies, and trust become the new currency. Items like medical supplies, water filters, lighters, tools, and even knowledge of how to fix or build things become more valuable than gold. Learning how to barter without exposing all your resources is an art form. People who adapt quickly to new forms of economy are often the ones who thrive. Defense is uncomfortable to talk about, but necessary. In war, desperation changes people. Neighbors can turn hostile, strangers can become threats. Protecting yourself and your group is not just about weapons, but about strategies. Setting up barriers, creating safe perimeters, and having escape routes matter just as much as having firearms or blades. Weapons without discipline or planning often cause more harm than good. Psychological deterrence, like making your place look less appealing or moving silently, often prevents conflict before it starts. Psychological warfare is another overlooked factor. When society collapses, fear, hopelessness, and despair kill more than bombs. Depression, paranoia, and loss of will can destroy survival groups from the inside. That's why maintaining hope, routine, and even small morale boosters is critical. Music, books, games, or just group rituals can keep spirits alive. Humans need purpose. Without it, survival loses meaning. The groups that hold on to hope are the groups that rebuild. Cyber warfare will also shape World War III. Power grids, banks, and supply chains are vulnerable. When hacked, people are left stranded. That's why preparing analog backups is important. Keep physical maps, hard copies of essential information, and even written contacts. Don't rely on cloud storage or digital banks. War can erase digital wealth in seconds. Survivors think ahead and prepare backups in forms that cannot be hacked. One more truth is location. Survival chances vary depending on where you are when war erupts. Major cities are often targets. Ports, bases, and industrial zones become dangerous. Rural areas may be safer, but come with fewer resources. Understanding your environment, potential risks, and fallback locations is critical. Scouting in advance, building relationships with people in safer areas, and having multiple layers of escape routes all increase your odds. Training is often ignored until it's too late. People buy gear but never practice. A water filter still in its package helps no one. A weapon you've never trained with is a danger to yourself. A first aid kit without knowledge is just a bag of objects. The best survivors practice before disaster. They test their gear, they run drills, and they simulate scenarios. Real war leaves no time for learning. Preparation is training, not shopping. Faith and values are also part of survival. Some dismiss it, but in desperate times, belief systems give strength. Whether it's faith in God, loyalty to family, or dedication to rebuilding, having a guiding principle helps people endure suffering. Survival without values often leads to chaos. Survival with values leads to community. This is why many civilizations throughout history endured wars. They held on to something greater than themselves. Let's talk about children and elders. In survival conversations, people often ignore the most vulnerable. But real survival means protecting everyone. Children need stability, even in chaos. Elders have wisdom, but may lack physical strength. Planning for their needs, creating roles for them, and finding ways to balance care with survival is essential. A group that abandons its weak may survive temporarily, but often loses humanity and unity. War also brings displacement. Refugees become a reality. You may have to leave everything behind. Preparing for mobility means packing light, but smart. Essentials like documents, medicines, and compact food are more valuable than heavy items. Learning how to carry only what you truly need makes the difference between survival and collapse during long journeys. Another truth is that survival is not just about war's peak, but also its aftermath. Even if you live through the bombs and battles, the post-war world can be just as dangerous. Scarcity, disease, lawlessness, and rebuilding challenges last for years. Preparing means thinking beyond just surviving the first wave. The question is not only how to live through war, but how to adapt after it. Now let's talk about stealth. In desperate times, visibility can be fatal. Shiny gear, loud noises, or even smoke from cooking can attract unwanted attention. Survival sometimes means blending in, appearing less resourceful, and avoiding confrontation. Moving quietly, dressing neutrally, and even hiding your strength can keep you safe. The strongest survivors are often the invisible ones. Self-reliance is a hidden power. The more skills you know, the less you depend on fragile systems. Gardening, carpentry, mechanics, sewing, foraging, and hunting are all timeless survival skills. In modern life, many people ignore them, but in war, they return to being essential. A person who can fix tools, grow food, and heal wounds is not just a survivor, but a leader. Preparedness also means accepting that you cannot control everything. War is unpredictable. Even the best plans may fail. That's why adaptability is more important than rigid strategy. Survivors accept reality quickly, adjust their actions, and never cling to what is lost. The ones who survive are not always the strongest or smartest, but the most adaptable. Survival also includes awareness of history. Past wars show us patterns. Civilians often suffer most. Supply lines break. Governments ration resources. Black markets rise. Diseases spread. Studying history gives insight into what might happen again. History is the teacher of survival, and those who ignore it repeat mistakes. Another truth is physical fitness. Survival is demanding. Carrying supplies, running, climbing, and enduring harsh conditions require strength and stamina. Many people underestimate this until it's too late. Preparing your body is as important as preparing your home. Fitness training, endurance building, and simple routines can save your life when you need to move fast or survive harsh weather. Finally, remember this. Survival is not just about avoiding death. It's about living with purpose in the darkest times. It's about protecting loved ones, preserving humanity, and finding hope when the world seems lost. World War III would change everything, but knowledge, preparation, and resilience can keep you alive and give you the chance to rebuild. So if you take only one message from this, let it be this. Survival is not about fear, it's about preparation. Don't wait for governments or systems to save you. build your skills, gather your tools, strengthen your body, prepare your mind, and create trusted networks. The truth nobody talks about is that survival is not about things. It's about people, mindset, and adaptability. That's how civilizations endure. That's how humanity survives.